General IELTS reading test number 1. Students, till now we have divided the same test into parts. Today we will be covering all the remaining questions. First of all, let us check what is the paragraph talking about and what are the questions asked to us. Now you can see there is a text given to us and reading which we need to answer questions 29 to 40. So therefore students, I will be covering all these 11 questions in today's session. This paragraph is bit lengthier than the others, but the way we will be tracing the answers, you will find it very easy to understand how to reach the correct answer. So I won't go reading the passage, but rather I'll just go to the questions, mark the keywords and then come back here. Now students, before moving to questions, please note that there are 2 slides that contain the passage. It is very lengthy. Beginning from paragraph A, it ends at paragraph number H, right? So first of all, let us see the questions. The text has 8 paragraphs A to H. Which paragraph contains the following information? Now, this is bit time consuming also. Whenever you encounter such questions in your exam in which you need to trace that where is this information given, it becomes bit time consuming. But don't worry, with practice you will get an idea how to reach the answer quickly. Choose the correct letter for questions 29 to 35. So the questions that you can see on your screen, they are from 29 to 35. For these questions, we need to write the answers, that is from A to H. That which paragraph contains this information. First of all, beginning with question number 29. The origin of word calisthenics. We need to find the paragraph which talks about the origin of this word, right? Let us go to the passage. This is the passage. First of all, we just need to start skimming and scanning. From the very first caveman to scale a tree or hang from a cliff face to the mighty armies of the Greco-Roman empires and the gymnasiums of the modern American high schools, calisthenics has endured and thrived because of its simplicity and utility. Unlike strength training, which involves weights, machines, or resistance bands, calisthenics uses only the body's own weight for physical development. This paragraph is giving the overview about calisthenics, what used to happen earlier. It also talks about Greco-Roman empires, gymnasiums of the modern American high schools, but it is not talking about the origin of this word, right? Therefore, A is not the answer. And students, there is one important tip for you. In order to answer such questions, when you start reading the passage, keep it in your mind what each paragraph is talking about. Next time when we will come back to find the suitable information in a certain passage, we will not read paragraph number A again. You must keep in your mind that what information it is giving about. Alright? Moving to paragraph number B. Calisthenics enters the historical record at around 480 BC with Herodotus' account of the Battle of Thermopylae. Herodotus reported that prior to the battle, the god king Zeus sent a scout party to spy on his Spartan enemies. The scouts informed Xerxes that the Spartans under the leadership of King Leonidas were practicing some kind of bizarre, synchronized movements akin to the tribal dance. Xerxes was greatly amused. His own army was comprised of over 120,000 men, while the Spartans had just 300. Leonidas was informed that he must retreat or face annihilation. The Spartans did not retreat, however. In the ensuing battle, they managed to hold Xerxes' enormous army at bay for some time until reinforcements arrived. It turns out their tribal dance was not superstitious ritual but a form of calisthenics by which they were building awe-inspiring physical strength and endurance. Now students, paragraph B is talking about when did calisthenics entered the history, that is 480 BC, alright? Let us mark paragraph B because this can be the answer, and this paragraph narrates the story of Spartans. I think you all have watched that movie also, 300. This is the story of exact that movie. But students, we need to check the next paragraph whether we are only talked about calisthenics historical record only in paragraph B or there is something given in paragraph C as well. The Greeks took calisthenics seriously not only as a form of military discipline and strength but also as an artistic expression of movement and aesthetically ideal physique. Indeed, the term calisthenics itself is derived from the Greek words for beauty and strength. We know from historical records and images from pottery, mosaics, and sculptures of the period that the ancient Olympians took calisthenics training seriously. Combination of athleticism and physical beauty. You may have heard a friend whimsically sigh and mention that someone has the body of a Greek god. This expression has traveled through centuries and continents, and the source of this envy and admiration is the calisthenics method. Now, students, in paragraph number C, it is talking about that it was not only the form of military discipline and strength, but it was ideally related to a good physique. The term calisthenics is derived from the Greek words for beauty and strength, right? We know from historical records, images from pottery, mosaics, sculpture. In paragraph number C, if you notice carefully, we are given the different sources from which we come to know about the origin of calisthenics. Alright, first of all, how this term originated. Paragraph number C is talking about the origination of the term, and then what are the various historical records from which we come to know about calisthenics. Therefore, students, between passage number B and passage number C, which is more suitable answer? Paragraph number B is only talking about that calisthenics enters the historical record in 480 BC, and then it is telling about the story of Spartans. But if you look carefully at paragraph number C, as I have highlighted the two things, the origination of term calisthenics as well as the historical records are also mentioned in passage number C, right? Therefore, students, the origin of calisthenics is more clear in passage number C. So what is the answer? The answer to question number 29, that is the origin of word calisthenics, that is C. I think it is very clear to you how to reach the right answer. Moving to the next question, the last popular supporter of calisthenics. We need to find the last popular supporter. Alright, let us go to the passage and check. Now we have read till passage number C. We will not read A, B and C again. We will move to passage number D. Calisthenics experienced its second golden age in 1800s. This century saw the birth of gymnastics, an organized sport that uses a range of bars, rings, vaulting horses and balancing beams. I am skipping 2-3 lines. Most of these men trained using hang balancing and horizontal bars. Now students, only by skimming the passage number D, I have got an idea. It is talking about the different things that are used in calisthenics, right? Bars, rings, vaulting horses, balancing, horizontal bars, modern weight machines, etc. So it is not talking about the last famous person related to calisthenics. Now we need to move further to our passage. Let us read paragraph number E. In 1950s, Angelo Siciliano, who went by the stage name Charles Atlas, was crowned the world's most perfectly developed man. Atlas' own approach stemmed from traditional calisthenics, and through a series of mail-order comic books, he taught these methods to hundreds of thousands of children and young adults through the 1960s and 1970s. But Atlas was the last of dying breed. Now students, have you got the answer? I think yes. The question was asked to you, the last popular supporter of calisthenics. And in paragraph number E, we have come to know about Atlas, right? And from this line, it is very clear Atlas was the last of the dying breed. From here, we have got an idea that Atlas was the last one. Now we need to check the word or the keyword popular, because we need to check the last popular person related to calisthenics. If you talk about his popularity, he was crowned as the world's most perfectly developed man, right? So he was popular also and he was last also. Therefore, our answer lies in paragraph number E. So the answer to question number 30 is E. Now moving to question number 31, the first use of calisthenics as a training method. When was calisthenics first used as a training method? We need to find this information. Now students, if you remember while we were reading paragraph number B, it states that calisthenics enters the historical record at around 480 BC. Afterwards, there was the story of Spartans and students. By the end of the passage, you can simply note down, it turns out their tribal dance was not superstitious ritual but a form of calisthenics. Now, what is the meaning of this line? First of all, in the opening, we came to know that calisthenics enters the history in 480 BC, and afterwards, this was used for building an inspiring physical strength and endurance that was done by Spartans in the form of a tribal dance. So, therefore, the question is, when was calisthenics first time used? Right? So, what is the answer? The answer to question number 31, the first use of calisthenics. When was calisthenics used first time as a training method? It was used by Spartans. This is mentioned in paragraph number B. So what is the answer? B. Moving to question number 32, a multidisciplinary approach to all-round health and strength. Where it is mentioned about multidisciplinary approach, that too for health as well as strength. Let us find out. In paragraph number A, that is the introduction. Paragraph number B is first time when calisthenics was used. Paragraph number C talks about the origin. Paragraph number D talks about the different things in calisthenics, right? Let us go to paragraph number E. E talks about atlas. Now we need to read paragraph number F. In 1960s and 1970s, calisthenics and the goal of functional strength combined with physical beauty was replaced by an emphasis on huge muscles at any cost. This became the sport of bodybuilding. Although bodybuilding's pioneers were drawn from the calisthenics tradition, the sole goal soon became an increase in muscle size. Bodybuilding icons, people such as Arnold and Sergio Oliva, were called mass monsters because of their imposing physiques. Now students, maximum places in this paragraph, it is talking about the emphasis on muscles. I would say huge muscles. It is talking about Arnold. It is talking about Sergio Oliva. Now let us skip 2-3 lines and then we will read further. These bodybuilders also relied on free weights and machines which allowed them to target and bloat the size of individual muscles. Calisthenics, with its emphasis on natural beauty and balance in proportions, had little to offer the mass monsters. This paragraph is talking about the mass monsters, the bodybuilders, muscle training, how they increased the muscle size, and talked about 2 people. Have you found the answer in this passage? The answer is no. But keep a note that while we were reading passage number F, what it is talking about. Let us go to paragraph number G. In this bigger is better climate, calisthenics was relegated to groups perceived to be vulnerable such as women, people recuperating from injuries, and school students. Although some of the strongest and most physically developed human beings ever to have lived acquired their abilities through the use of sophisticated calisthenics, a great deal of this knowledge was discarded and the method was reduced to nothing more than an easily accessible and readily available activity. Reading till here, students, it is telling about that it was also related to women as well as the school students, right? It is also talking about that some of the strongest human beings that have ever lived have their ability which was done through sophisticated calisthenics. But what is the question? The question is relation of health plus mind with calisthenics. Till now we have not found the answer. Now let us read the last passage. In recent years, however, fitness trends have been shifting back toward the use of calisthenics. Bodybuilding approaches that promote excessive muscle development frequently lead to joint pain, injuries, unbalanced physiques, and weak cardiovascular health. As a result, many of the newest and most popular gyms and programs emphasize calisthenics-based methods instead. Modern practices often combine the elements from a number of related traditions such as yoga, pilates, kettlebell training, gymnastics, and traditional Greco-Roman calisthenics. Many people are keen to recover the original Greek vision of physical beauty and strength and a harmony of mind-body connection. Now students, our first keyword, mind, that is exactly the same as in question, and for health we have found a synonym which is body. Mind body connection, that is equivalent to health and mind. Therefore, our very obvious answer to the question is passage number H. Answer to question number 32 is H. Now moving to question number 33. Reasons for the survival of calisthenics throughout the ages. Now we need to find the information that what are the reasons for the survival of calisthenics. Any guesses, students? Now we have read the entire paragraph. Can you find the answer easily now? You need to find where it is mentioned the reason for the survival, or I would say reasons for the survival of calisthenics throughout the ages. Now students, if you go to paragraph number A, it is talking about from the very first caveman to scale a tree or hang from a cliff face to mighty armies of Greco-Roman empires. Is it talking about the journey? I think yes. From a caveman to scale a tree or hang from a cliff face to the mighty armies means starting from here and going till the mighty armies of Greco-Roman Empire and gymnasiums of the modern American high schools. Calisthenics has endured and thrived. Endured and thrived means it existed right from the cavemen to scale a tree or hang from a cliff face to the army to the gymnasiums of the modern American high school. I think this is the question. Reason for the survival of calisthenics throughout the ages. We have seen 2-3 examples that how calisthenics survived and traveled through ages. The answer is paragraph number A. Moving to question number 34. Medical substance to increase muscle mass and strength. I think if you noticed, we read in the paragraph there were words written as steroids, etc. So, medical substance, any medicine, anything which is written like that to increase the muscle mass and strength, where it is talked about. If you read passage number F, the words that I am saying, steroids, synthetic hormones, which boosted muscle development. This is the exact question asked to us. The answer is very simple. The answer to question number 34, that where some medical substance is mentioned, that is paragraph number F. Alright. Now moving to our last question. A reference of traveling showmen who displayed their strength for audience. Where it is mentioned that there were certain showmen who displayed their strength for audience. Let us find out. Now paragraph A, that is talking about the traveling of the term. Paragraph B talking about first use of calisthenics. Paragraph C is origin of calisthenics. Paragraph number D, calisthenics experienced its second golden age in 1800s. Then it is talking about the different equipments used, right? Afterwards, this period is also when the phenomena of strong men developed, right? We have found one keyword, but we need to read the entire paragraph to check whether the information we are looking for is there or not. These were the people of astounding physical strength, right? We have again found one more related keyword, and development, who forged nomadic careers by demonstrating outlandish feats of strength to stun populations. Now students, see how the synonyms are used. First of all, I'll take you to the question and then we will come back again here. The question is saying there is a word used, showman, and then displayed their strength for an audience. If you are using your notebooks and pen along with this tutorial, note down the words. First one is showman and second one is audience, right? Now, in place of showman, we have got strong men and demonstrating outlandish feats of strength to stunned population. Now, in place of audience, we have got the word stunned population. This is the information we are looking for, that there were people who had a very good physique. They demonstrated, they showed their physique to the audience. Therefore, in the passage, it is talking about the strong men who had a very astounding physical strength, and they also demonstrated their strength to stunned population. So therefore, students, what is the answer? The answer to question number 35 is D. So students, this is the correct way to find the information. No doubt you have to read the entire paragraph, but once you have covered reading one paragraph, what the paragraph is saying, keep the facts in your mind so that you have not to read it again and again. Alright? Now let us move to the next question. The questions from 36 to 40 are basically fill-ups. You just need to fill in the blanks, right? This is 36, 37, 38, 39 and 40. What we will do, we will just read the lines, we will go to the passage, and then what we will do, we will find the suitable words. During the 60s and 70s, attaining huge muscles became more important than blank. So what we need to find, 60s and 70s. And then we need to check during these years, attaining huge muscles became more important than what? In context with which attaining huge muscles became important. Let us go to the passage. Now students, here I would like to give you one tip. In the question, there were two terms. What were they? As I also wrote with pen, 60s and 70s. Only find these terms, you will find your answer. In passage A, we don't see these, neither in B, nor in C, nor in D. So, on this screen, nowhere there is talked about 60s and 70s. Let us go to the next paragraph. In paragraph number E, there we can see 1960s and 70s, right? Also in paragraph number F, therefore students, our answer is there. But Atlas was the last of the dying breed. The tides were turning, fitness methods were drifting away from calisthenics, and no widely regarded proponent to the method would ever succeed him. Now students, it is only talking about Atlas. So our answer is not in this paragraph. For sure our answer is going to be in passage number F. In 1960s and 70s, calisthenics and the goal of functional strength combined with physical beauty was replaced by an emphasis on huge muscles at any cost. Now we have got the replacement, that was huge muscles. Now huge muscles was the replacement of what? What was replaced? You can clearly see functional strength. Therefore students, the answer to blank number 36 or question 36 is functional strength, right? Let us read further. The first people to take up this new sport of bodybuilding had a background in calisthenics, but the most practitioners became known as blank. Now it is asking that what most of the famous practitioners were known as. We need to find out on account of the impressive size of their muscles, right? Now students, since our questions began from passage number F, so therefore our blanks will go in the increasing order of this only. Although bodybuilding pioneers were drawn from calisthenics tradition, the sole goal soon became an increase in muscle size. Now students, we have got one term, muscle size. Bodybuilding icons. People such as Arnold and Sergio Oliva were called mass monsters. Now in the question we are asked the practitioners. Now who are the practitioners? Here the practitioners are bodybuilding icons. Now students, you can see over here bodybuilding icons. Then there are two examples. What they were called? They were called mass monsters. What is our answer? The answer to question number 37 is the famous practitioners became known as mass monsters, right? Now let us read further. I am going to start reading from here. Calisthenics then became the domain of weaker people, females, children, and those recovering from blank. I think we clearly read about this term. Without looking at the paragraph, the answer has come in my mind now. Let us go and see what is the answer. Now students, it was paragraph number G in which we read about women, school students recuperating from injuries, right? So what is our answer? Our answer is injuries. Because reread the statement once again, calisthenics became the domain of weaker people, females, children, and what? Those recovering from. So what they were recovering from? They were recovering from injuries, right? Now I'm going to read the next line, that is from here. Once a person became skilled at this, he would progress to blank. So now, when a person became skilled at this, skilled at calisthenics, he would progress to what? We need to find this question. Now we have read till here. Let us read further. I am going to start reading from here. Those who mastered the rudimentary skills of calisthenics could expect to graduate to weight training. Now students, what was the question? The question was, once a person became skilled at this, rather than writing calisthenics, about which our passage is today, they have used the word this. So once a person becomes skilled in calisthenics, what will he do next? Now if you read this line from here once again, those who mastered the rudimentary skills of calisthenics could expect to graduate to weight training. What will they do next? They will do weight training. So the answer to question number 39 is weight training, right? Reading the last line, currently a revival of calisthenics is underway as extreme muscle building can harm the body, leaving it sore, out of balance, and in a poor what? So we need to find this blank. Let us read ahead of this. In recent years, however, fitness trends have been shifting back towards the use of calisthenics. Bodybuilding approaches that promote excessive muscle development frequently lead to joint pain. Now from this point, the problems begin. Few problems are mentioned in the question, but we need to find what is weak, what gets weak. Injuries, unbalanced physiques, and weak cardiovascular health. Now I am going back again to the question. Now it is saying that muscle building can harm the body, leaving it sore, out of balance, we have already seen, and in a poor. Now rather than poor, we read the word weak. Now students, what was weak? In the passage, you remember what was weak? It was weak cardiovascular health. So our answer is cardiovascular health. Therefore students, with this answer we have covered the entire questions of reading. Altogether there are 40 questions whose answers can be true, false, not given. They can be pick the correct heading. They can be selecting the suitable paragraph. They can be fill-ups. Therefore practice carefully till we meet in our next session with a new reading.